I made this exhibition because it's a natural need to belong. You want to belong to a group, or you want to belong to a family, or to a generation, or to a culture. And in the artists presented, they show works which are referring to this belonging. For example, Rafa Balan his work is about the sense of belonging to family.
Within the lockdown, the first couple of months, I felt like there's a lot of things that I was missing. Every couple of months, my family goes into the old photos or for the family or their friends, the moments, and then they start sending me pictures. And then I thought, I don't have my family album, and I thought I wanted to create it. People sometimes belong for something. It's like a musician lost their instruments, or they are not playing it anymore, so they are still longing for it, but it's not there. That's how I thought I started with a series with something missing. That's how I express it.
The work of Bindini du Toit is about the struggle to belong, different groups opposed to each other, polarization.
The images that I work with is really about realities, different realities of the people of South Africa, and everyone, trying to find their belonging and where they belong and their purpose. I think that this is something that is coming up everywhere in the world. Scenes of protest and riots, everyone trying to bring across a message, and I think it's very relevant at this moment.
Option Jeremiah Nyahunsvi is from Zimbabwe. He's living and working in Zimbabwe, and his work is about belonging to a generation. He paints people belonging to the younger generations most of the times, but it's very important for him that they have a connection with other generations. For example, there is a painting in this exhibition, Child of the Tribu, so children of a special tribe, and they learned all kinds of things of other generations. So the connection to other generations, also to ancestors, is very important in the work of Option. So actually what you can say is that the work of Benin is about the confrontation. They are not connected. The work of Option is more about harmony, people living together and learning from different generations. And the work of Rafat is about isolation, individuals in isolation. I think a sense of belonging is a human need and something really to fulfill. And I think the artists created here a very nice exhibition to show their work in this context.